Morning. Got a golf game today. Got to go up to Bogart, Bacall. That's where we're playing today, an executive course. I don't know if we're going to make it. It looks very cloudy. It looks like it could rain just any minute. Okay, let me do some of the news for this week. Newspaper out of the Daily Sun. There, Chase man. Wildwood Commission redefines entitlements for Southern Oaks region. I'm not going to read all of this. I think the long and short of this is they've allowed, I think, more homes to be built down in the Southern Oaks region. I see a change approved Monday night to a developer's agreement will allow the villages to add up to 2,000 additional homes to the Southern Oaks Regions Plan south of State Road 44. And Wildwood City Commissioners gave unanimous approval to amending the developer's agreement, making it possible for the villages to now build up to 25,345 homes in its active lifestyle community. Those would be age restricted, just like the rest of the villages. The agreement involves 13,637 acres in an area that extends south from the Megason Road extension at State Road 44 and south from U.S. Highway 31 at Florida's Turnpike along both sides of the Turnpike to Lake Sumter County line and farther south on the south side of the Turnpike to a point north of Center Hill according to the agreement. I don't know. All these directions of this and that, and I just don't know. But anyway, they were adding more homes, which, like I've said many times before, when they report something about homes, how many this or how many of that, or these things change during the development. It will, for many times, it'll change. Because you hear all the time people talk about rumors. I heard there's going to be 14,000 of this or of that, or 5,000 of this or of that, and I try to answer them in the best way I know how, because I don't have all the numbers. Only the developer and the land company's got all these numbers really. Yeah, that's what they say now, but that it doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be the final number in anything. These things change. 1 minute there could be a major store brand going into a shopping center, and then something happens, and then that store brand's out and somebody else is in. It just happens, isn't it? Just here. These are the things that happens everywhere. By the way, morning coffee. There you go, Tommy. I'm slurping. Okay, villagers recreational parks. Well, recreation and parks, actually. For those of you coming down that's not familiar with the villages and some of their activities that they do, this is fairly new. You might be interested. Fishing, kayaking, and nature-guided tours on Lake Sumter. By the way, it's a simple thing, but still, it's Sumter, not Sumter. Sumter, S-U-M-T-E-R. It's not S-U-M-P-T-E-R or S-U-M-P-E-R. It's S-U-M-T-E-R. If you go into Google something and you type it in wrong, you're liable to get Sumter County in Oregon or someplace. Anyway, the Recreational and Parks Department presents fee-based fishing, kayaking, and nature tours. Experience the lake up close and personal. Choose your adventure, a catch and release fishing excursion, single or tandem a kayaking adventure, or a scenic tour, nature tour of the lake's ecosystem. For available dates and to register, visit Eisenhower, La Hacienda, Lake Miona, and Rohan Recreation Centers, or call area code 352-674-1800, Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Or you can probably visit their website, which is www.capitaldistrict.gov.org, capital G. So it's capital D-I-S-T-R-I-C-T, capital G-O-V.org. That's, those things started, I think, in September. I don't know if they go through, I'm sure they go through the whole winter. But the availability of that as snowbirds arrive, and then you got the holiday seasons where everybody's family comes down here, like the Thanksgiving weeks, the Christmas weeks, New Year's. Those things there will probably be booked up solid every day during all those holiday seasons. Meet this season's newest entertainers. 5 bands, the latest to join the lineup at the Squares. I had the names here. Where's the names? Here they are. Sherry and the Rockefellers, Studio 77, Brown Bag Brass Band, CC Tennille, and Soul Commotion, Penta, P-E-N-T-A. Those are some fairly new bands just joining the activities. Crime scene, spends several hours at the home of the Villages. That's for the 2 people. Apparently it was kind of like a double suicide kind of thing. It's a sad situation. Fox News personality Tucker Carlson draws a passionate fans to book signing events. Pete Rose baseball infamous Charlie Hustle shares intimate details of his career. That's really basically a fairly old thing there. I should have reported that a couple weeks ago, but anyway, I'm reporting it now. I guess he was here, had a little show about this and that. I like Pete Rose, always did. Met the guy one time. I know it's a very controversial thing there, but my personal opinion is he should be in the Hall of Fame. He's not going to the Hall of Fame for some of his actions that he done, but he should be going into the Hall of Fame for what he did accomplish. That's just my opinion. Okay. AAC considering online survey to determine amenities at new recreation site. Well, they always do that. That's not new. Controversial, well, forget that. That's politics. Water Oak stunned by $1,000 power bill after botched AC installation job. That's all of that. Wildwood okays plan for up to 26,000 new homes in the village of Southern Oaks. I already read that. The Villages clears final hurdle to expand into Leesburg. Isn't it amazing how this place just keeps expanding and keeps going? You got to ask yourself the question, and I don't understand all the political differences, and I don't even want to get into that, is when does a retirement community, which is what this place, let me give you a little bit of history. At one time, the signs around the Villages, it was known as a golf cart retirement community. And then as years went by and it got bigger, those signs changed to where it was a golf cart community. And then the years goes by and those signs just disappeared. They're not, I don't even know if they're even around anymore. Because I don't go up to Spanish Springs as much as I used to, but they're gone. Now they advertise themselves as being Florida's friendliest hometown. And you gotta wonder, as when it was a small, intricate retirement community, as it was booked to be, to now it's Florida's friendliest hometown, and we're going to build another, I don't know how many homes. You know, the numbers changed. I'll say 40,000 homes, whatever. Somebody's going to say, no, it's 49. Well, 6 months from now, that could be 63, or it could be 32. I mean, the numbers are all over the place. When does a retirement community, when it gets to a certain population size, become a city? Because we're on the map. So when you become a city, I'm not sure how you can age restrict a city. And I'm just wondering in the future if this retirement community, how do I put it, turns to just another city with the same city problems and just another city of the United States with all the same problems that everybody else has got. And when it becomes that, how old am I going to be? And am I going to want to pack up and find someplace else to go? Do I want to wait that long? You know, you're always guessing in the future what's happening. Right now, things are fine. I mean, I see changes. Everybody's been here for a while sees changes. We see things just going on that we don't really like. But I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But it is something that I do think about. I'll be honest with you, I do think about it. Because when it gets to the point, and I told my wife this, when it gets to the point that I can't get around in my golf cart because there's so much crap on the golf cart trails anymore. I can't get on that golf cart, and I can't do my doctor's appointments, or I can't get to the grocery store like I want to, or this or that, or it gets to the point that there's just things going on that I just don't like, that gets in the way of a quiet, peaceful, active combination type of retirement that I like. Then I'm out of here. I don't owe the villages anything. They don't owe me nothing. I'll just pack up my stuff and I'll find someplace else to go. But so far things are okay, but I do wonder. Dancers detail dangerous situations at rec centers in villages. At rec centers, they're probably talking about the floors being slippery and stuff, and I don't know how slippery they are, or is it a dangerous situation because people are just getting old. Villages official reports some walkers feel bullied by golf carts on multi-mogul path. Well, there is a problem with, my wife does a lot of walking, and she says that, first of all, you're supposed to walk facing traffic. You don't walk on the side of the golf cart path, or a road for that matter, where your back is to the traffic coming at you. You are to be walking on the side of a road or path facing traffic. You should be looking at the car coming at you. That's the side of the road you're supposed to be on. A lot of people don't know that. Second of all, when you're walking on, especially a golf cart path, because they're so narrow anyway, you shouldn't be walking side by side, three aside, talking to each other, having your phone to your ear and going down the road doing that kind of thing. You should be really kind of, when you see somebody's coming, you should move into a single file off to the side there a little bit and give everybody room. But a lot of people don't. I don't know. It's just I dare you kind of a thing. I dare you to come at me. I dare you to do this, or, I don't know. I don't get it. But I've seen it myself, going down a golf cart path, going to Beard Day or something like that, and people be walking down a golf cart path 2 and 3 side by side, blocking basically the whole lane. They won't get out of the way. What do? I mean, you have to wait until all the traffic. That's what I'm talking about. When it gets to the point that I can't get anywhere, that's what I'm talking about. And and I see a lot of other things on our golf cart paths that just don't seem right to me either. Well, for example, one night when I was working a guard shack, and I was working the Hillsboro Gate right out here. I was working the midnight till 6 in the morning shift. About 3 o'clock in the morning, I seen 2 guys, I don't know who they were, on the other side of Buena Vista, walking down the golf cart path over there, and they was carrying like a little bag, kind of like, and they were walking. And I'm looking, and I know where that golf cart path goes, and I know exactly where it comes out at. And I'm looking, and I never seen anybody come out. I never seen anybody continuing on. So I called the watch, the community watch, and he come out there with a flashlight. He ends up calling the sheriff. They were down in the golf cart tunnel. I don't know what they were doing. They never told me. It was probably none of my business. But next thing I know, the sheriff shows up, and I don't know if he arrested them. I don't know if he told them to move on. I don't know. But those are the kinds of things that, because we've gotten to a certain size now, that you gotta wonder. I've seen children here that it was obvious these children do not live inside the villages here. They're not visiting grandma, and they are riding their bicycles down our sidewalks, which is a no-no. They're coming in from the outside neighborhoods, and they're using stuff in here to get from point A to point B. Might be small infractions now, but how big do you get? Because when these small infractions become a huge infraction. And I'm like Barney Fife on a lot of this stuff. Nip it in the bud, and stop it now. Okay, Wildwood Oaks plans have been approved. We're going into Leesburg. One of these days we'll have golf cart paths all the way to Disney World. Leesburg agrees to provide natural gas to villages' grown vegetable projects. First restaurant added to slate of business of Trailwinds Village. I don't care. Trailwinds ain't part of the villages, and I really don't care. Because I see problems there that's going to affect everybody here in the villages. We'll wait and see, but I just knowing what the future building is going to be over there, I see problems, and I don't know how it's going to be handled. Listen, if the developer can't get rid of an 8-year-old kid I don't know if it's even trying, but if they can't get that kid out of here, I see problems coming down the road. The Leesburg ordinances call for age-restricted development on soon-to-be villages-owned lands. I guess they're buying more land. This is like Walt Disney. Leesburg City Commission heard the first reading of 5 ordinances Monday night that are connected with the 1100. Oh, that's the same parcel they were buying before. Yeah, they're still working on all this. Something about a spray field, and I don't know. They'll get it all figured out. Man arrested after screaming at customers at Publix in the Villages. Drugs? Look at this moron. I'm sorry. I'm not even going to show you this picture. What a goofball. A man was arrested after screaming at customers at a Publix grocery store in the Villages. He was at the Publix up at Spanish Springs, whatever that shopping center is there. Lady Lake police were called at 10:20 a.m. to the Publix of La Plaza Grande, where officers found 28-year-old Sean Rigsby screaming at random people in the parking lot. Several witnesses told police Rigsby, who lives in the Hidden Oaks subdivision in Lady Lake, had been in the store screaming obscenities, according to a police report. Rigsby was asked by management to leave the store, but he became more irate and began trying to pick fights outside the front entrance. Rigsby was seen getting into a female's face, screaming at her and calling her obscene names. He also used profanity toward an employee on a cigarette break. Rigsby was arrested on a charge of breach of the peace and booked at the Lake County Jail on a $500 bond. He was arrested after he entered a home in 2017 from which he had been banned. He was arrested in 2015 after reportedly helping himself to his mother's checkbook. I thought his face looked familiar. He's been arrested before. He goes on talking about how he was arrested in 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011. He was arrested again for violating probation. 2012, he was arrested on charges of... It just seems like to me that a $500 charge here ain't near enough. This kid needs to go to jail and stay there for a while. He ain't learned his lesson about nothing. He's got a drug problem, man. I don't know what to tell you, but one thing I know, if he's in jail, he'll probably get over that drug problem. Officials calls for amenity fees to be refunded to villagers forced from homes by sinkhole. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. The amenity fees isn't because of a sinkhole, or the amenity fees isn't because of you living in your home or helping you live in your home. The amenity fees is because of all of the things that you can do here, like go to the pools, all the activities here. And just because you're not living in your house, you still have the rights of those pools and everything. So I understand what you're doing, but it's not going to work. Golf cart stolen from Publix at Colony Plaza. Dead man's home in village of Delmar has utilities turned off and gas overgrown. That ain't going to stay that way very long. Amenity Authority Committee agrees to pay for addition at Rio Grande family pool. Villages couple appalled at classification of American flag as non-compliant lawn ornament. Well, they're kind of twisting that around a little bit. That isn't what it says at all. They didn't say the American flag is considered to be a lawn ornament. That's just what they're doing to try to get it approved. What they're saying is the way they have it displayed is considered to be a lawn ornament, and by deed restrictions you can't do it. You're allowed to have a flagpole. It's got to be approved, a flagpole, by ARC, but you can have a flagpole. But what they're doing isn't. Personally, this doesn't bother me. I really wouldn't care one way or the other, but I'm kind of looking on both sides of the coin here, and they're saying somebody's probably complained, and now they're saying that that's an ornament, the way it's displayed, and you can't do that. And, they'll work it out somehow, some way. Grand Traverse Plaza to welcome famed Texas barbecue restaurant. I'm sorry, we don't need any more. It's all barbecue stuff. Barbecue over here, barbecue. If it ain't barbecue restaurants, it's Mexican restaurants. And I don't know. I got my favorite places to go get ribs. Call it a barbecue place, whatever. I think that's what it is. Smokehouse. I got my one or two favorite Mexican restaurants. They're all over the place. And Texas barbecue to me ain't much different than any other kind of barbecue. And, to me, that there just gets to be to the point where there's just too many. It's nice to have all these selections, I suppose, in the wintertime, but in the summertime, when the snowbirds leave and we're left with the full-timers, that's when these people really start to struggle to meet their monthly nut. And they start laying off waitresses and waiters, and they move them around. They do it here in the villages too, and but then in the wintertime when the snowbirds are here, the prices go up. The service, in some cases, maybe get better. It's just a funny situation. Wildwood RV Park's ambition expansion plan blessed by Sumter County. Slow ticket sales force cancellation of Veterans Show at Savannah Center. I don't know. One thing, I don't want to give an opinion because everybody says that I'm an old grump. I've been in Savannah Center for 2 or 3 different shows. Savannah Center to me sucks. I don't even want to go there anymore, and I don't even care who's there. The way the acoustics are in the building, that echoes. The speaker systems are bad. You pay money to go see a show. It's an elderly community here. Most people have somewhat of a hearing problem. Not everybody, but most guys do. And you go into a place like that, and it's just awful. It's just, you can't hear nothing, you can't understand what they're saying, and I just told my wife, last one I went and seen was the Blues Brothers Review up there. I had front row seats, and we get up there, and what kind of a front row seat did I end up getting? Because they got different rooms. And we go to a room where they literally take fold-out chairs, put them right next to one another, I mean touching. The chairs couldn't get no closer. And that's where I sat for 2 hours in one of those chairs with people elbow to elbow, and I told my wife, that's it. I'm not coming back up here ever again for these shows. I'm just not doing it. Legal action possible following county's response to sinkhole issue in the villages. Out-of-town homeowner facing action on property in Premier Villages neighborhood. That's the Harmwoods of Bel Air. It's a beautiful, beautiful neighborhood, an older neighborhood, but beautiful neighborhood. Dog under quarantine at Recreation Plantation after biting an 83-year-old snowbird. I don't know what the rules are about animals in the Recreation Plantation area. Here, the rules, it doesn't say dogs, it says pets. Here, any pet outside your home has to be on a leash, but you cannot tether your pet like to a doorknob or to a tree, or you can't do that. But if you're taking it out for a walk or to use the bathroom or whatever, it has to be on a leash. I know people break that rule, but that is the rule. Dale Webb Spruce Creek man out $300 in bill scam. People still falling for scams. Route altered for Leesburg to deliver wastewater to villages of West Lake. That's one of the new areas they're going to be working on. Villager and golf cart airlifted from scene of crash in roundabout. Oh, I know where that roundabout is. That's the one that I avoided. I've told you guys about before. There's a roundabout way up by Spanish Springs. The roundabout and golf carts, believe this or not, there is actually 2 separate lanes. The cars are on the inside, and then on the outside there's a golf cart lane in that same roundabout. It's dangerous because cars just go around there and then they exit to go to the hospital, they exit to go to 441, they exit to go over to Spanish Springs. And in that roundabout, you're in there also, but trust me when I tell you, these cars are going to exit, and if you're in the way, they're going to run into you. And I avoid that. I don't even go to that roundabout. There's a way of sneaking into Spanish Springs by going through one of the hacienda neighborhoods. I'm not going to say which one, but there's a place you go through that back there, and it literally dumps you out right there by the movie theater in downtown Spanish Springs. That's the way I go, because I will not go in this roundabout with my golf cart. Female sex offender temporarily residing in the haciendas of Mission Hills. I don't know why all the sex offenders for some reason seem to find their way here. Suspect with stolen items in backpack knocks employee to ground at Beals in the Villages. Here comes bad parking as the villages braces for a return of snowbirds. Ooh, let's take a look at that. Those are always fun. People park every willy-nilly. It just amazes me. There's one. Is it focusing okay? See, we're parked on a striped line. Those cars that's got them things on the back of them like that, I think most of them ought to be outlawed. I really do. They are so wrong. One is, on that car there, you cannot see the license plate. The law says the license plate's got to be visible at all times. You cannot see probably the brake lights or the tail lights or the turn signals with all that crap on there. So, I mean, that's why. It's a safety issue. Let me see, what the heck is that? Some of these are, oh, there's a goofy one. Let me see if I can get this thing to focus here. Let me touch the screen. There we go. See that golf cart, how he whittled in there between that car? See that striped area? Is it just me? Does people not know that if it's a striped area, what that means? Am I the only one that knows this? Oh, there's a go. See where that car's parked over the line? I wonder if people realize why they even paint a line. Why do they even paint a line if you're not going to pay no attention to it? Well, you can't really tell. I know what's going on there, but I can't show you because you can't really tell. Look at this idiot. Look how close that car got to that golf cart. There's no sense in that. There's one below it. Look at that golf cart parked once again in a striped area. Some of these is just hilarious. It's so hilarious, and it's just, how do I put it? It's just not being courteous. It's just amazing. God. Oh, there's what you do. See that golf cart there? This is a little pet peeve of mine. And you see it all the time in the winter, all the time. That don't look like he's really bothering anybody, does it? He's parked on the sidewalk. He's on the, where the curb comes down to the road. So somebody in a wheelchair or motorized wheelchair of some kind, that's how they get up on the sidewalk. Now look again. He's parked on it. People are just disrespectful. There's another one. Parked in a striped area. That red car right there is parked in a striped area. Just totally amazes me. Totally amazes me. Oh man, I don't even understand. I just don't get it. I really don't. How do these people drive from Pennsylvania or wherever all the way down here if they drive like this? Here, how do they even get here? Oh well, that's enough of that. I'll get accused by somebody saying that I'm picking on them. So what? Terminated employee charged with helping himself to company's Citizens First Bank account. What? He can't take money out of their account? What? Why not? Mother in village of Silver Lake reports son's suspected drug use to law enforcement. Good for you, Mom. Good for you. That's what some of these mothers and fathers ought to do. Get your kids if they're on drugs, they're alcoholics, or they're just simply lazy and are just sucking you dry. Get them some help, get them the hell out of your house, and get them on the path of taking care of themselves and being a productive citizen. Villager arrested after flunking Mississippi count in field sobriety exercise in church parking lot. I don't know what a Mississippi count is, do you? Well, let's go see. Well, it's a woman. Just looks like an ordinary grandma. I mean, she don't look, on this picture, she don't look intoxicated or anything. You know how most of them look, they look really bad. She don't look that way. She's 55, of Silver Lake, had been at the wheel of a silver Dodge Dart at 1:52 a.m. Wow, Grandma, what are you doing out at 2 a.m.? When she was spotted traveling 52 miles an hour in 35 mile an hour zone. That's easily done in a lot of areas, really. If I was a cop, I can kind of sympathize. I know it's the law, but I can kind of sympathize with some of this. Some of these speed limits, I think they're really made because of golf cart traffic. But you're going to go down a road that's 2 lanes wide. It's actually a 4-lane road, 2 lanes going each way. Speed limit's 30 miles an hour. There's nobody out here. and it's a mile to the next roundabout. You're almost like, God, what's the point? Why can't I do at least 40 or 45? Well, you get a ticket. It's just like the so-called 20-mile-an-hour speed limit for golf carts. I don't know, in my mind, that is the stupidest thing. What, 22 is bad? Seriously, is 22 that bad? And then even if it's 20 mile an hour, here's another pet peeve of mine. Some people will go 12, 13, 14 mile an hour. They could go faster. I'm not talking about the Villages golf carts that they, for the lifestyle visit people. I understand what's going on there. But these people just go 12, 13 mile an hour on the golf cart trail, willy-nilly, not paying attention. They don't look in mirrors. They're just going down the road, pointing over here and pointing over there, and not doing anything. And you got to wonder, if the speed limit on the highway was 65, some people get in that left lane, they won't get out of it, and they do 55. So here it is, speed limit is 20, and some of these people come down and doing 12 and 13 in their golf cart to be safe, right? To be safe, don't want to get a speeding ticket. How slow is too slow? That's my question. How slow is too slow? So, anyway. Lake Sumter Landing, according to a report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office, her vehicle also began to straddle the center line before she was pulled over near Hope Lutheran Church. Well, lines don't mean nothing. I just showed you in the bad parking. What does a line mean? She provided a driver's license but struggled to find her insurance card. She told a deputy it was on her phone. I watched the defendant tap on the wrong app 5 times until I realized she kept trying to log into Facebook. Okay. Of course, so she might have just been nervous. I know some older people down here, they get nervous. And when they get nervous, they get kind of confused. After numerous attempts, she located her proof of insurance card for another vehicle. The deputy walked Greer to the entrance of the Hope Lutheran Church for her field sobriety exercise. She was instructed to count during the one-leg stand and told to use Mississippi in the count. Do these cops just make this stuff up? I mean, really, stand on one leg. I want you to do a countdown from 10 down to 1 and use Mississippi. And oh, by the way, when you get done, I want you to flap your arms and quack like a duck. I mean, come on! During the exercise, the defendant would only count to 3 Mississippi and continued to count without saying Mississippi. After every number, on the last attempt, the defendant reached to the count of 13. In every attempt, the defendant used her arms for balance, the deputy wrote in the report. I'm sorry, but you're dealing with old people here. First of all, I think the one-legged thing is stupid, especially for somebody that's elderly. I know they always ask these questions. Do you have any physical problems? Have you had a knee problem or a hip? Everybody here has got a knee problem or a hip problem. I guarantee you they do, in some form or fashion. So the idea of standing on one foot when you're old and keeping your balance. I haven't had anything to drink today. I'm drinking coffee. I just about lay you 10 to 1 odds that if I was told to stand on one leg right now, I'm not sure how long I could actually balance myself before I really start to wobble. So I think I believe what the lawyer said. Don't do nothing, because that's the only evidence they have against you in court. You don't have to give them blood, you don't have to give them breast samples, you don't have to do this exercise thing. And it's a trick question when they say, well, if you haven't had anything to drink, then you don't have a problem doing this then, right? That's a trick question. So, not that I got anything against anybody. I just think fair is fair and right's right. And to ask somebody, say 70 years old, to stand on one leg and count, I think so. I just don't know. Breathalyzer, if they want to do it, yeah, possibly. But, I don't know. I'm starting to get off on a tantrum here. Palmer Legends owner. That's the championship golf course up by Lake Sumter. Palmer Legends. Owner serving a jail time after jury returns a guilty verdict. What was he convicted of? Owner Palmer Legends Country Club in the Villages is serving time behind bars after a jury found him guilty on charges of disorderly intoxication and resisting arrest. Fun-loving crowd flocks to Spanish Springs for inaugural Heritage Parade. They have all the parades, it seems like, at Spanish Springs. They don't have them, I don't think, anywhere else. The parades I'm talking about. Health inspector shuts down Bellevue Eatery over multiple violations. It looked like it's called Cal's Place, C-A-L apostrophe S. Cal's Place. Have no idea anything about it. New gas station opens its pumps at Trail Winds Village in Wildwood. Don't care, I can't get my golf cart there. That's where the Lowe's is at. I've never been there either. Can't get my golf cart there. 2 fast food restaurants. Second grocery store coming to Trail Winds Village. Don't care, can't get my golf cart there. Man, I had a lot of news. Did I skip news last week? Usually I only got like 5 of these. Sumter County crews removing political signs from areas where they are prohibited. You just can't stick signs anywhere. Woman who claimed she just put her dog down arrested on DUI charge after leaving scene of crash. It ain't gonna work. You can't leave the scene of a crash and say my dog died as an excuse. Come on. Man arrested after leading deputy on chase a former Leesburg basketball standout. 81-year-old villager jailed in alleged attack on tennis champion at Tierra del Sol. What did he do? Attack the tennis pro pair with his tennis racket? Let's see. These guys, I swear, 81 years old. I mean, come on. He tough old bird. Gotta give him credit. He tough old bird and he ain't taking any crap. 81-year-old villager was jailed Wednesday after an alleged attack on a tennis champion earlier this month at Tierra del Sol Recreation Center. Morris Hirsch Wolf was taken into custody at 11:45 a.m. Wednesday at his home in Mallory Square. Wolf was accused of attacking a 77-year-old fellow tennis player on the morning of October 6th, according to an arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. Wolf began arguing with the other player and threw a banana at him. Wolf then struck the man in the chest and face. When the man attempted to walk away, Wolf continued to yell and cuss at him. The arrest report said Wolf threw his tennis racket at the man, striking him in the left arm. I wonder what the argument was about. It doesn't really say, does it? I mean, what would make this guy this mad? During a sequence interview with the deputy, the victim said Wolf is a danger to the public due to his erratic and unstable behavior. Well, I don't know about that. Wolf was arrested after an altercation at the same tennis court on February 1st. Well, this is the second time. While free on bond, Wolf returned 3 weeks later to the Tierra del Sol courts in defiance of a trespass order. Now it's starting to stack up on him, ain't it? When Wolf arrived on the scene, he demanded an attorney. He was arrested on charge with trespassing. He was allowed to enter into a pre-trial division program, but apparently became such a problem he was booted from the program due to his behavior, according to the letter, and filed on Sumter County Court. But apparently, frustrated prosecutor washed his hands of Wolf by offering him a chance to pay a one-time fine of $450 and dropping the case. Man, this guy's tough, ain't he? He done wore them all out. Wolf was also arrested last month on a charge of practicing law without a license. Oh, God, this is the guy. Remember the guy? Oh, God, that's funny. I think it's funny. Health inspector shuts down Ocala fast food restaurant over multiple violations. Freddy's is the name of the place. Computer stolen from front desk of fitness center at Del Webb, Spruce Creek. That's across 441 up there by Spanish Springs. Rio Grande family pool closed until further notice. They're working on it, doing some additions, I think. Okay, we're finally getting to her. Man sentenced to 6 months probation in beating death at Spanish Springs. I think this is wrong, but I didn't, these kids were in a van. This happened like a year ago or something, and they were running around Spanish Springs acting like a bunch of idiots, running real fast in their van, hollering obscenities at people that worked at McCall's, hollering obscenities to people at the square. They were just being totally obnoxious up there. This is a retirement community. Why are these kids wanting to come here and cruise around? What are you looking for 80-year-old chicks? What the hell's the matter with you? Anyway, somebody that worked at McCall's approached these kids. Don't know what was said. One kid snuck up behind this other kid that was talking to him, hit him upside the head, knocking him out. He falls to the sidewalk, bangs his head on the sidewalk. The police show up. They arrest the kids that assaulted. They brought the ambulance in for this boy that hit his head. Goes to the hospital. The hospital determined that the injuries were more severe than what they thought. Now, up to this point, this boy was talking to people and was alert. They sent him to Ocala. He goes to Ocala for, I guess, trauma center, and he died. So now these kids they were minors, I think, at the time. They were brought up on felony something charge, whatever it was. And now they found them guilty of whatever. It must have been a plea deal. This is why I have against plea deals. You don't have a right to a plea deal. The boy that died was 26 years old. Nicholas Metcalf, 21 of Bellevue, Tuesday in Lake County Court pleaded no contest to a reduced charge of battery. He had originally been charged with felony battery at the time of his arrest. Should have been charged with manslaughter. Metcalf has been placed on 6-month probation in order to pay a $772 fine. Nice to know that young man's life is worth 6 months of a probation and $772. And he's got to submit to random drug screens. The other boy, Nicholas Metcalf. The Metcalf was represented by a public defender. Metcalf, co-defendant in the case, is 21-year-old Bryce Hall, is being represented by criminal defense attorney Stacy Yeomans. She announced earlier this year that she plans to use a stand your ground defense. Everybody down here wants to use that. It doesn't, most cases it doesn't really work well. This case is set for trial on November the 5th. Well, anyway. Hall and Metcalf were still teenagers. Yeah, that's what I thought. They were minors. When they and two friends drove a minivan to the vicinity of Spanish Springs Town Square on the night of June 5th, 2016, where they drove recklessly, sped around the square, and were spinning tires into parking lots, according to a report from the Lady Lake Police Department. When the group drove by McCall's Tavern, it's a fairly popular place to get fried chicken, by the way, where Stevens was working, they proceeded to yell profanities at the employees cleaning the patio area. When the group parked the minivan near 2J's restaurant, Stevens left McCall's Tavern to confront them. While confronting two of the van's occupants, Hall ran up behind Stevens and punched Stevens on the side of the head, causing Stevens to fall to the ground and strike the back of his head on the concrete. While on the ground and unresponsive, Metcalf kicked Stevens in the face. When the officers arrived on scene, Stevens was alert, mobile, and coherent. Officers observed Stevens having a bloody nose and they called for an ambulance. Stevens agreed to go to the hospital and get checked out, but refused to make a statement about the incidents. After being evaluated at the village's regional hospital, it was determined his injuries were more severe than originally thought, and he was transferred to the trauma center at Ocala Regional Medical Center, where he later died of injuries suffered in the altercation. Ah, man, that is so sad. So sad. Young men. And this is all they got to do in a retirement community. Retirement. Community watch driver ticketed after a crash leaves a villager pinned under his golf cart. Ooh, I can hear it now. I can hear. I don't even have to read the comments. I can hear it now. They ought to have seatbelts. That'll be required. It should be a law. I need to have seatbelts. Seatbelts. Whatever. Barrel containing unknown substance causes traffic detour near Southern Trade Shopping Center. Fell off a truck. And apparently it got a leak and it's leaking out on the road, and they say it's unknown substance. Well, my question would be, where's the truck driver? He's got a bill of lading that tells you what's in that barrel. Okay, that's the news. It's too long. I promised I was going to cut these down, but sometimes I just can't. I get to talking too much. So, I'm going to get out of here. Hopefully we can play golf today. I'm going to try to get this downloaded and get it up by Friday. You guys have a great weekend. I'm going to have a great weekend. The snowbirds are coming back. The weather's getting perfect. 80 degrees, low humidity. What can I say? I'm playing golf. And I'll see you on the other side.